Are infrared air fryers actually better than regular air fryers? Do they really produce faster, crispier, and juicier results? Or is infrared just another air fryer gimmick? To find out, I tested 2 infrared air fryers side by side against the 2 best regular air fryers I've ever tested. In all 4 air fryers, I cooked chicken breast, chicken wings, French fries, plain white bread, and pizza. For each test, I used the same food, the same portions, and the same time and temperature, so the results would be as fair and controlled as possible. I compared cook time, browning, crispiness, juiciness, and overall taste. If you're thinking about buying an air fryer or upgrading to one of these newer infrared models, you need to watch this video to the very end. Some of my results were exactly what I expected, but a few made this comparison way more interesting than I thought it would be. Before I get into the results, here's what I tested, and here's how these air fryers are different. The 2 infrared air fryers I tested are both from T-fal, the smaller dual window model and the wider Surface XXL. The 2 regular air fryers I tested are the Instant Vortex Plus and the Typhur Dome 2. These were the 2 best performers from my larger air fryer review. The biggest difference is how they heat the food. The 2 regular air fryers use a standard metal heating element and a fan. Think of it like a powerful hair dryer. It relies on blowing hot air around the basket to cook your food. The Instant Vortex does this from the top only, while the Typhur Dome 2 heats from the top and bottom. The T-fal models also use a fan, but the top element is infrared. Instead of waiting for the air to heat up, it sends instant, radiant heat waves directly into the surface of the food, kind of like a high-powered heat lamp. Like the Typhur, these T-fal models also have a regular heating element on the bottom to help cook from underneath. According to T-fal, that direct infrared heat is supposed to cook food faster, brown the surface better, keep the outside crispier, and the inside juicier. And they claim that it doesn't require any preheating time. To make the comparisons more useful, I matched them up by shape. The wide T-fal Surface XXL against the wide Typhur Dome 2, and the smaller T-fal against the Instant Vortex Plus. For the first test, I cooked frozen French fries because they're one of the most common foods that people cook with air fryers. I portioned out 100 grams of French fries for each air fryer and cooked all 4 batches on air fry mode at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes. The goal wasn't to see which air fryers made perfect fries, because everyone likes fries at a different level of doneness. The goal was to see which ones cooked faster, using the same amount of food, time, and temperature. After 10 minutes, all 4 batches were good. They were crispy, crunchy, and fully cooked. But there was a clear difference. The infrared models cooked the fries much faster. In the same 10 minutes, the fries from both T-fal infrared models were noticeably darker and crispier than the fries from the Typhur and the Instant Vortex. Next, I tested chicken breast, which can be tricky in an air fryer. Since it's so lean, it can dry out fast if the air fryer cooks too aggressively or unevenly. Before I get into that, I want to quickly thank Pesty for sponsoring this video. I have woods and wetlands behind my house, so once the weather warms up, we get a ton of bugs. And there's nothing more annoying than finally sitting down to relax on the deck and feeling something crawling up my leg. And that's where Pesty comes in. If you're not familiar, Pesty is a do-it-yourself pest control that uses the same types of treatments that you get with professional pest control companies, but it's packaged in a simple kit that you can apply yourself. The kit comes with the treatment, a rechargeable sprayer, a mixing bag, gloves, and clear instructions. You just mix it, spray it around the outside of your home, and the whole application takes about 10 minutes. When you sign up, Pesty customizes the treatment based on where you live, your climate, the season, and the specific bugs you're dealing with. It works on over 100 types of common household bugs, and when you use it as directed, it's kid and pet friendly. If you're ready to get started, scan the QR code or click the link in the video description and use code PRUDENT10 to get 10% off your first order. So for the chicken breast test, I used pieces that were close in weight, inserted a wireless temperature probe into the thickest part of each one, and I cooked them on air fry mode at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. I flipped them after 10 minutes. I pulled each one when it hit 160 degrees. Then I let it rest until it reached 165 before I cut into it and tasted it. With the wider air fryers, there wasn't a huge difference at the 10-minute flip. Both pieces were cooking, but neither looked even close to done yet. The T-fal Surface XXL reached 160 degrees first at 19 minutes and 14 seconds. The Typhur Dome 2 took 21 minutes and 52 seconds. From the top, both looked pretty similar. They were lightly browned and roasted, but not deeply browned like chicken seared in a pan. The bigger difference was underneath. The Typhur browned the bottom of the chicken more, but when I cut into them, the T-fal chicken was noticeably juicier, and I confirmed that with my taste test. With the two smaller air fryers, the T-fal also cooked faster. The T-fal reached 160 degrees in 18 minutes and 8 seconds. The instant Vortex took 25 minutes and 43 seconds. But this time, the final juiciness was basically the same. Once both pieces were fully cooked and rested, I couldn't tell a meaningful difference when I cut into them or tasted them. To see if the infrared air fryers actually make food crispier, I cooked chicken wings. For each air fryer, I cooked 3 flats and 3 drums. I set each one to air fry mode at 380 degrees, flipped the wings after 10 minutes, and checked them at 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, both batches in the wider air fryers were browning well, but they weren't quite done yet. So I added more time and finished both with 2 minutes at 450 degrees. With T-fal, I used the crispy finish button, which adds 2 minutes at 450 degrees Fahrenheit. The Typhur doesn't have a crispy finish button, so I set it manually. Both batches took 20 minutes total, and both came out really good. The main difference was that the Typhur wings looked a little more evenly browned all the way around. The T-fal wings were still good, but the underside of some flats were slightly paler, which makes me think the bottom heating element isn't quite as strong as the top. With the smaller air fryers, the difference was more obvious. After 15 minutes, the wings cooked in the T-fal model were browner on top than the instant Vortex wings, but both were still pale underneath. After 5 more minutes, the T-fal wings were clearly darker, crispier, and more evenly browned. To finish the test, I gave both batches 2 more minutes. In the end, the smaller T-fal wings were better. They were crispier, more browned, and in my taste test, slightly juicier too. Air fryers are supposed to heat evenly because the fan circulates the hot air around the basket. But I wanted to see if there were any obvious hot spots and whether the infrared heat made a difference. So I covered the cooking surface of each air fryer with plain white bread and cooked each batch on air fry mode at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 4 minutes. The 2 T-fal models and the instant Vortex all browned the bread unevenly. Some spots got dark, while others stayed pale, and the browning didn't line up in an obvious way with the heating elements. The Typhur was completely different. After the first 4-minute cycle, the bread was toasted and crunchy, but it still looked white with no brown spots. I ran it a second time to see if darker spots would appear, but even after that, the bread still looked evenly toasted with no obvious hot spots on the top or bottom. For the pizza test, I only used the 2 wider air fryers because they're wide enough to actually fit a pizza, and they both have a pizza setting. I made both pizzas the same way with the same amount of dough, crushed tomatoes, cheese, and pepperoni. For this test, I didn't use the same temperature and time. Instead, I followed each air fryer's pizza instructions because I wanted to see how the pizza would come out using the settings that they recommend. The T-fal process starts by par baking the dough. After 7 minutes, it beeps and tells you to flip the dough over, add the sauce, cheese, and pepperoni. Then cook it for another 7 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. With Typhur, it preheats first, which takes about 7 minutes, then cooks the fully assembled pizza at 340 degrees Fahrenheit for 14 minutes. The difference was night and day. The T-fal pizza was pale and floppy. The bottom barely browned, the cheese wasn't fully melted in some spots, and the pepperoni didn't crisp at all. The Typhur pizza was much better. The crust puffed up more, the cheese fully melted, the pepperoni crisped, and the bottom had real browning and charred spots, almost like a pizza cooked in a brick oven. This was the clearest result of any test. For pizza, the Typhur was on a completely different level. So after all that testing, are infrared air fryers actually better, or is it just marketing hype? Before I give you my take, just a quick heads up that all 4 air fryers I tested are linked in the video description if you want to check them out. So based on my data, infrared is definitely not a gimmick. The infrared models consistently cooked faster, and in most cases, they produced crispier results in less time. But faster doesn't automatically mean better. A great traditional air fryer can still match the crispiness and juiciness of infrared. It just might take a few extra minutes. And as we saw with the Typhur, the overall design of the air fryer can matter just as much as the type of heating element. So which one should you buy? Between the 2 extra wide models, my top pick is still the Typhur Dome 2. It's expensive, but it cooked the top and bottom of food more evenly, and it completely dominated the pizza test. That said, if the Typhur is out of your budget, the T-fal Surface XXL is an excellent alternative that's significantly less expensive. It's fast, it has a massive cooking surface, and the viewing window is useful. Just keep in mind that you may need to flip your food more often to get the bottom evenly browned. And the wire rack is a bit of a pain to clean. Between these two narrower models, I'm a bit more torn. The T-fal cooks faster, you can set it 50 degrees hotter, and it has a window to monitor progress. But the Instant Vortex Plus has more usable basket space, a reminder to flip the food, and it has consistently performed well across dozens of foods I've cooked in it. Both are excellent options, it just depends on what you value. If you want to see all the air fryers I tested, check out this video where I compare the top models, or this video where I review the highly popular Ninja Crispy and Ninja Crispy Pro. And for more videos like this, click the logo to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.